What's going on, everyone? You listen to Bull Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So I wasn't going to do a post-game video of the Bulls' final preseason game, as I already uploaded a video earlier today, which I'll link here in case you guys missed it. But after the Bulls had a 22-point comeback win to close out the preseason, I thought, you know what, I'll share a couple thoughts that I have, because there were a few things from this game that I was pretty pleased by. And no, not just because they came back after being down 22 in the third, and the game really looked all but over, but more importantly, that Lauri Markkanen finally had himself a good game with some decent shooting. It is just the preseason. I know I always add that little caveat, but it was, regardless, it was a great game to see Lauri Markkanen come out strong, being much more aggressive. He was handling the ball, not just waiting beyond the three-point line for the ball to come to him for just a spot-up shot. He had 22 points in 26 minutes, shooting 40% from three with 5 rebounds. It just bodes well, for his confidence going into the regular season next week. Lavine, another really solid night for him. 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. He shot 50% from the field. The guy is just looking locked in and ready heading into the season. And I think what I've actually been most impressed by from Zach is that he's actually stepped it up on the defensive end, which is really saying something, for the preseason, since players don't really play a ton of defense in the preseason. I'm not saying he's an elite defender by any means, but you can tell he has improved that aspect of his game, which was, one of his more or less one of his weaknesses. Wendell Carter Jr. had a much better night, I guess you could say. Probably his best preseason game. He still can't hit a three-pointer to save his life. He shot 1 for 16 from 3 the entire preseason. So my hope is either he starts knocking down some of those shots. Otherwise, I think it's best if Wendell just focuses on what he does best on the defensive end, as well as scoring in the paint and, occasionally having some mid-range jumpers. He did look better tonight defensively, though, which was good. 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks for him tonight. Now, the bench is what really won this game for the Bulls, which isn't surprising considering a number of the guys on the bench are playing hard in that they're fighting for roster spots on this team. We got to see Luke Kornet for the first time, although he didn't really do much in his limited minutes on the court. Chandler Hutchinson has continued to look solid this preseason. I just pray the guy stays healthy, because I honestly think he could be a very nice complementary piece coming off the bench for this team. And how about Shitu? Tonight, that guy, wants a roster spot on this team. You can tell in just every game that he's played in this preseason. 13 points tonight in 12 minutes, shooting 6 for 8 from the field. He actually looked really smooth out there. I was really impressed with his play. Now, a guy who did not have a good night at all was Coby White, after coming off an excellent game he had just 2 days ago. I'm not really concerned about this because, again, it is just the preseason, but it is one of those things I was concerned about with Coby a little bit last year, and just his overall consistency. As a rookie, he had some really great games, very standout games, and then there would just be some where he was simply a non-factor on the court. Now, I know he did close out the season very well prior to the season being suspended, and that was one of the things that I talked about with Coby, was that, I want to see that kind of play more on a long-term basis. Now, he's still really young, so obviously you expect that to an extent from a guy for his age, that he's going to have some off nights, but I hope going into his second year we see more on nights than off. He shot 1 for 10 from the field, only 4 points and 3 assists. He did have 9 rebounds, which you like to see, for someone his size. But again, I'm not too worried. I'm sure he'll come ready and energized for the regular season, and doubt that this game will really have an effect on his overall confidence level. Thaddeus Young, Garrett Temple, Denzel Valentine, we still have yet to see these guys play. They missed the whole preseason. I am curious to see how they'll fit in this lineup and in Billy Donovan's rotation. Both Dotson and Satoransky still are not with the team with excused absences. Still no word yet on whether or not their absences are in fact COVID related. Hopefully they're okay and they're healthy, and they'll be back to start the regular season next Wednesday. Anyway, so that's going to wrap up the Bulls preseason. Now the real fun begins, and the Bulls play their first regular season game next Wednesday the 23rd, where they'll take on the Atlanta Hawks. Unfortunately, we won't get to see Chris Dunn's return as he is out due to an injury. Now, based on some of your guys' feedback, you had preferred seeing post-game recap videos after every game rather than doing a weekly recap of all the games from that week. So I will try to do that at least to start out the season, although some nights it might be a bit challenging for me as I do work full-time and I have a family with a kid, so I might need to be a little more flexible on how often I upload. But the plan for now is to have post-game recaps, and I'll also have videos in between from time to time. But I'm always open to feedback and suggestions you guys have on what kind of content you'd like to see, so let me know in the comments if you have any. As always, guys, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan. I upload daily Bulls content on this channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one.